Again, I hope everyone is having a good afternoon today. Mr. Griffin, as you know, we're delighted that you took out your spare time to meet with us. Um, my name is Michael Taylor. I'm an associate with here with my associates here with the non-organization, the Community Heroes. We dedicate our time to meet with those that would like to give us some of their, uh, their experience with disabilities, and also people that have gone through great tremendous obstacles and their success stories. And we would like to talk a little bit about some of your, just a little bit about yourself. Could you tell us about your your life experience growing up?
Well, I grew up in Goldsboro. I was born in Durham, North Carolina. Uh, my dad was a physician in Goldsboro. I have cerebral palsy, um, and I was probably, well, let me back up. I went to the CP hospital in Durham, and that's where I learned to walk when I was 4. And then when I was 6, I went to Edgewood Elementary. It's the same Edgewood that was the developmental school, but at that time it was just a regular grade 1 through 6 school. And I went to Edgewood, and then from there I went to Wayne Country Day School, and so growing up, I grew up in Goldsboro, but I was essentially mainstreamed in school even before mainstreaming was a common term, I guess. And from there, I went on to college. I did undergraduate at Davidson, and then I did graduate work at Duke and also at Montana State University in Bozeman, Montana. And from there, I became a high school science teacher, taught chemistry, earth science, physical science. Worked some in industry as a quality control chemist, and then went back to teaching at Southern Wayne High School in Dudley, and then eventually I went to uh, Spring Creek High School. I was their senior year science teacher. I taught physics and chemistry and physical science, and then from there I went on to Wayne Community, where I stayed until 2017 when we relocated to Spartanburg, South Carolina, for my wife's job, and I retired.
Wow, that's quite a resume. Um,
I was fortunate. Um, I had parents who were able to push me and had opportunities to do a lot of things. And I enjoyed Boy Scouts and uh, working with athletics and things like that. So it was a good, I have good memories of Goldsboro.
okay, wow. Um, which yeah, one of the other things I was going to say, you talked about cerebral palsy. Um, talk more about the cerebral palsy and how it affected you. Um,
Um, well, I was born prematurely. Um, I was 2 pounds, 4 ounces at birth, and I'm happy to say I'm 63 years old. So, fortunately, I was born at Duke Hospital, and we didn't have all the neonatal uh, care that we have now. And so, basically, I would stop breathing since my lungs were underdeveloped, and I would stop breathing, and then I would have a nurse who would slap me on the back till I started breathing again. And that's what led to having cerebral palsy. Uh, it affects my legs, my balance, my ability to move my foot up and down. And I was one of the guinea pigs for what they call a heel and tendon cord releases. And they did that when I was 7 and 8. They did one leg 1 year and then the second leg the following year. And primarily I used a cane growing up. Um, and then eventually, as I've gotten older, I've used a walker, and also now I use a power chair as well to get around. But I drive and uh, get myself from place to place when I need to.
Okay. So, uh,
Go ahead.
yeah, it says it's never affected, your education, yeah, Mr. Griffin.
A lot of folks that have cerebral palsy are uh, very intelligent. It did affect my hearing. I wear hearing aids, and a lot of people who have cerebral palsy also have difficulty with vision. So I'm farsighted in one eye and nearsighted in the other, which is a little unusual.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. It's a very interesting. Because I don't know a lot about cerebral palsy. So, that really tells me a lot about, I know about the physical disabilities, very mild. That's a very extraordinary journey. Through, from age 7, and that's an extraordinary journey to hear. Um, could you tell us about your teaching? How do you implement the technology in the classroom?
Uh, yeah, I've always been interested in computers and technology. Uh, when I was in high school, I was fortunate to have a science teacher who uh, got his hands on one of the first computers that were around, and so he would tell us a lot about that. And so when I started teaching, uh, when I was at Southern Wayne, we had Apple computers, and when I moved from there to Wayne Community, uh, we had a whole lot more resources. Uh, One of the things that came along about 2008 was the college wanted people to be able to take online courses. And so we created a hybrid chemistry course where we met one night a week. Uh, I think it was on a Tuesday, and we did a quiz and then we did a lab. And so it wasn't totally online. You still had the hands-on component of it, and it was quite popular with the nurses. Some of the students were not as receptive because online had not really been around that long, at least in this area. Um, I actually, backing up even further, when I was at Montana State, I also did a hybrid degree. We would go in the summer for online or in-person classes, and then during the fall and spring semester, we took classes online, and that started in 1999. So that was one of the first places I knew of where you could get an online degree. And so I brought that experience to my teaching, and we did a lot of things with Twitter. Uh, I didn't really get into Facebook because I felt like that was personal. Uh, but let's see, probably about 2015, I was one of the first to use Periscope as a platform for live streaming my classes as well as saving them for people to be able to watch if they were not able to come to class, or in some cases, we had a guy who had to go to California for military duty, and so he stayed up with us via Periscope. And the college was fortunate enough to allow me to make presentations at national meetings through the American Chemical Society. And so we were able to go to Houston, Texas, Richmond, Virginia, uh, San Francisco, as well as San Diego, California, uh, in the last few years that I was at the college.
Okay. Wow. And you, X amount of years at the Minnesota college.
Say again?
You spent a X amount of years at that college, correctly? Um,
I was at the college from 2005 until 2017
wow.
at Wayne Community.
That's an extraordinary history about technology because I don't like to hear about that, but you implemented that in your career and so many things you've done with that. Understand how do you that, you influence others with that because I did it X amount of with mine too. That I didn't go as far as with that with my own. I like to hear that history with that.
Uh,
Um,
the, the college was very helpful in allowing me to try out new ideas and things like that. And that's carried on now to other people, who are have built upon the things that I started and hopefully made it even better.
yes. Um, what are your some of your awards that you have accomplished, Mr. Griffin?
Uh, well, I've always enjoyed Boy Scouts, and so I'm proud to say that uh, uh, I'm a third generation Eagle Scout in my family. Uh, my grandfather was actually the first Eagle Scout in Wayne County back in the 20s, and then my dad came along, and then I received my Eagle. I believe that was about 1972. And then in 2015, I was fortunate enough be awarded the Silver Beaver Award, which is the highest award the council can give to someone for service in Boy Scouts to the council. And I've continued that here in Spartanburg. Uh, I do Eagle Scout Boards Review, and that's something that I really enjoy. Unfortunately, with the virus, we've got those on hold right now, but I've met some mighty nice, fine young men, both in Wayne County and here.
That is very great. Um, what do you miss the most about now that with the pandemic? What do you miss the most about your experience with the Boy Scouts?
Interaction with people, um,
Or-
having to be uh, in the same basic area or staying in the house. I still try to get out from time to time and get a cup of coffee or something like that. But just having the opportunity to call somebody up and say, "Hey, let's go get a burger" or something like that. Now, South Carolina is a little bit ahead of North Carolina in terms of we have opened up our restaurants and our hair salons are open. and our gyms are open and things like that. But I get to go get a haircut June the 2nd.
Hmm. Um, oh,
Also, too, my wife is an associate rector at our church here, in the fact that we're not able to gather as a congregation to worship together. Uh, we transition to live streaming services and things like that. So I, I miss, like many people, my church family.
right. It's definitely a transition. I understand that. It's quite that everywhere. Um, so could you talk about your experience being a certified athletic trainer?
Uh, well, I was an athletic trainer. I did that for about 10 years, both at Southern Wayne um, and at Spring Creek. Uh, and that was a lot of fun. We had a good run of success at Southern Wayne while I was there with uh, Coach Warren and so many other coaches, and his son Greg was there, and of course he later went on to be a long snapper at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and then initially was drafted and played a few years with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed getting a chance to be involved with the student athletes, both in the classroom and also, on the athletic field. And that was a lot of fun.
Mm.
And I also did ran the clock for basketball, men's and women's basketball at Southern Wayne and Spring Creek, and then I ran the clock for about 18 years at what's now the University of Mount Olive for men's basketball. So that's been real important, and that's one of the things I have missed uh, since we moved is that interaction with the folks at University of Mount Olive.
Right, a great experiences, getting players as well.
Absolutely.
And
Um,
you can understand,
to see them develop and grow.
right,
That was one of the things I missed transitioning from high school to community college was, you know, when I had them at the high school level, I watched them grow from 8th grade all the way to seniors and beyond. And, you only had them for a short period of time at community college.
right, yes. That transition going from high school, middle school to high school, and then, moving on from then, just watching them grow as a player and also, seeing them outside of the probably definitely new experience. I know.
But
You,
but I will say it's interesting here. Um, my first 2 years of teaching were at Broughton High School in Raleigh, and one of the members of our church is a young man by the name of Dr. Jim Hall, and he was one of my high school students who went on to University of North Carolina Chapel Hill to study chemistry, and then eventually went to med school. And he's an eye surgeon here in Spartanburg, and I see him from time to time as well. And he was in one of my first classes back in 1982.
wow. Um, can you talk about your coaching experience?
Now I was never a coach. I just was I was an athletic trainer. I never actually did any real coaching, so to speak.
Oh, okay. Different. From you from then. Um, that would be then. some great feedback from other people would really probably could also learn from you coaches, from community colleges and as well as you know, because you have you know, a lot of knowledge that you have going in. You're an extraordinary man. Coaches that, you know, they're still probably learning about the field, but could probably even learn from you, some of your advice because you know so much about a lot of this field. Definitely in the field of getting ready to talk with it during the seasons, seeing them.
And it was it was a it was a good relationship, and um, a lot of these guys are friends on Facebook. This was probably back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, and Facebook was just coming around, and so I've had a chance to watch these folks grow up and have their own families and children and so forth, and watch them enjoy their uh, children's athletic career as well. So that's been a lot of fun for me to see from afar. And some of those guys are coaching now.
Right.
Some of them are refereeing uh, at the high school, the college, and I think I've got one who is trying to break into the NFL right now. I don't think he's quite made it, but he's trying. So that's pretty cool to be able to see that move forward and see them take the things that they learned from coaches and maybe some things from me and apply it on down the line.
Yeah, even listening to you now, that for me, that's rewarding for me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
hearing about sports, which I don't spot much, but listening to it, that kind of gives me, a lot of insight to learn from someone that, have done such a lot, but something that I want to be able to do that as much as well. So that's a lot to hear. Um, one other thing, Mr. Griff, I want to ask you about, what three professional football players have you coached at Spring Creek?
Ooh, well, they were actually I think all of well, one was at Broughton. He was a fellow by the Broughton High School Raleigh. He was one of the guys was Danny Peoples, who played in the NFL. Uh, then there was Greg Warren, who played at Southern Wayne, and then Michael. Oh, he's gonna kill me. uh, but there was one other guy who played some of the semi-pro ball and maybe some XFL. And he would know who he was. But he played at Western Carolina and then is now out in California. But Greg is probably the most well-known of in this area. Uh, he, of course, is now retired and is working in Wayne County. And his father, Bob, was a longtime head coach at Southern Wayne.
Right. What was the other one you were going to?
I'm blanking on it right now. I'll have to think. I can see him.
Well, um, I was gonna say some of the other ones you were mentioning. You mentioned about uh Outwood College,
I'm sorry.
um that name the Outwood College, I think. I have to read it again when it comes back to me.
Okay.
That was a great college too, that you mentioned.
Oh, you're talking about University of Chapel Hill or Western Carolina?
Oh, Western Carolina. Yeah.
The fellow that we're trying to think of, Michael, was played his he played in Western Carolina and then went from there. Uh, and
But yeah, I thank you for your time. To speak with us because I really like hearing about these stories. Um, you going from being a teacher, an athletic trainer, and doing so many extraordinary things, specifically with an area in technology implemented in the classroom and dealing with having such a healthy relationship with students. And you know, everywhere you went, your heart followed with it. So that's something that a lot of us hope for. You're one of the lucky ones.
yeah, that was fortunate for me to. I came through Wayne County at a really good time with a lot of really good people and some good students, and uh, I'm proud of all my students that I've had, and they've all they all carry a small piece of my heart with them. I know that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Because you were saying stuff about um, you know, some of your small accomplishments, with what you did for many years, dealing with some of your awards, along with the scouts, and you were dealing with that. I know when you were speaking of dealing with that, and you said you enjoyed spending those years, just being out and dealing with the people. So that means more to me in the accomplishment. You did more a lot of spending time. What I would really wish I would have done, not join some of those things like that.
It's been a wonderful journey so far, and one that I've been very blessed in a lot of ways.
Is there anything that you would like to leave with us with a small note of something about that you would like to leave as a small memento of anything?
Well, just reach, set your goals, achieve them, and keep going. And you know, if you fail, keep trying. Uh, Life throws a lot of roadblocks at us sometimes, and we just have to keep trying. And my wife got on me the other day. She said, you're not pushing as hard, you're not trying as hard as you used to. And I got to thinking about that, and I said, she's right. And so I kind of refocused and kept going.
Yeah. Mhm. Thank you for your time, and we're definitely glad that you had took out the time out of your free time to meet with us and my associates community here. This was definitely a great meeting. I would hope that you would like to meet with us with another meeting sometime if you had an opportunity. Again,
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. This was
Well,
very,
I appreciate you having me, and would welcome the opportunity to speak with you guys, anytime you have a need.
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
You can find Community Heroes at Facebook at Community Heroes, Instagram at Community Heroes _NC, Twitter at @com_heroes, YouTube at Community Heroes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can find us on our website at www.communityheroes.net. Thank you again, Ashton, for your interview today.
Thank you.